most violent hitman.
It's easy to become a hitman in Mexico. Actually, it takes 3 months to go from being a drug dealer on the street to being a hired killer. The Federal Secretariat of Public Safety in Mexico says that most hitmen start their careers as informants for drug trafficking groups, making between $155 and $380 per month. Once they have shown loyalty, they're moved up to become recruiters. Then they start helping with the hits and eventually become hitmen themselves. But as bad as the job market in Mexico may be, a closer look at how hitmen work shows that money can't be what draws young Mexicans to the job. Considering how long a hitman is expected to work, it's a very low-paying job compared to blue-collar jobs. In Mexico, the average time spent as a hitman is 3 years. So even if hitmen got to kill a lot, they would not be able to save up much money over time. Again, hitmen get killed too. Despite the stress, low income, and possibility of getting killed, many hitmen, or sicarios, are frequently coming up on Mexican soil. Apparently, there are other ways to become a hitman in Mexico. The assassination of a loved one and losing one's mind can also be contributory factors, as seen in the life of Manuel Torres Felix. So what exactly is the drive? In this video, we reveal the heinous crimes and bloodshed perpetuated by a notorious hitman in the country. Stay with us as we tell the tale of Manuel Torres Felix, the most violent sicario in Mexican history. Let's get started. The beginning. Manuel Fidel Torres Felix, also known as El Ondeado or El M1, an alleged Mexican drug baron and high-ranking commander of a cell within the Sinaloa cartel, was born on the 28th of February 1958. Manuel, born in a small hamlet in the town of Llanos del Refugio in Cosala, Sinaloa, offered his services to the Sinaloa cartel in the 1990s, following in the footsteps of his younger brother Javier. There's little on his earlier life before he joined the drug business. When Javier Torres Felix was captured 14 years later, Manuel ascended to the peak of the cartel. Afterward, he started working with the son of Joaquin Guzman Loera, the former most wanted man in Mexico, Ovidio Guzman Lopez. Under the guidance of Ismael Zambada Garcia, Fidel supervised drug trafficking shipments from South America into Mexico. Torres Felix became known to the public on the 18th of April 2008, when rivals from the Beltran Leyva cartel killed his son Anastasio Torres Acosta in an ambush attack. They also hurt his 4-year-old daughter Alondra and 24-year-old sister-in-law Sandra Rivas Heredia. The gunman left a note at the crime scene on behalf of Arturo Beltran Leyva and his nephews, Los Zetas. The note said, "On behalf of your friend and his nephews." So you can understand Manuel Torres. According to the authorities, the killing of Anastasio sparked a cartel war in the Mexican state of Sinaloa. Others said this incident triggered the animal in Manuel Torres. Whatever the case, Torres Felix was never the same man after the attack. Manuel Torres Felix reportedly lost his mind after his son was murdered. A few hours after the death of his son, he gunned down 2 of those responsible for the crime. Yet he wasn't satisfied. Apparently, he was on a mission of no return. To demonstrate how less he cared about anything else, he embarked on a killing rampage. He tortured the offenders at his home in Culiacan. Because of his emotional instability and aggressive demeanor, he gained the moniker El Ondeado, the Crazy One. His crime. Torres Felix rose to prominence and became one of the most violent drug dealers in Sinaloa. The commandos he led were blamed for hundreds of deaths. He was said to have lived in the hills and valleys of Sinaloa and rarely went to cities. He would often stay awake for 2 or 3 days without sleeping, just creating plans for his revenge. In September 2008, as part of Operation Sinaloa, the Mexican military found Manuel's safe house. They took away drugs, guns, an armored vehicle, and radio equipment there. The Mexican military also found a picture of Felix with Misael Torres Urrea, also known as El M2. Misael Torres Urrea is Torres Felix's nephew and Javier Torres Felix's son. 3 years later, on exactly the 1st of June 2011, the U.S. government put Torres Felix on a list of the most wanted drug traffickers. He was on the list with Gonzalo Inzunza, also known as El Macho Prieto, another high-ranking member of the Sinaloa cartel. The PGR offered a ransom of 3 million Mexican pesos for information that would help them catch them. Manuel Torres Felix's death. On the 13th of October 2012, early in the morning, in a fight on the road outside of Oso Viejo, Sinaloa, Mexico's military killed Manuel Torres. Rio Doce says that soldiers stopped the Sinaloa cartel leader's car and surrounded it, killing him as he tried to get away. During the operation, the police took over $9,000 from Torres' bodyguards and arrested 3 of them. His body was taken to the forensic center, where it was kept under watchful eye of the military so that his accomplices could not steal it and use it for their own purposes. Following the gunfight, the armed forces discovered multiple hidden caches of ammo, weapons, and other types of weaponry. Interestingly, when he died, his body was transported to the San Martin funeral home in Culiacan. There, members of his family and friends paid their condolences by paying a visit to the funeral home. This proceeding was not done without security on the ground. The Mexican army set up checkpoints in the surrounding streets and maintained a presence outside of the parlor to ensure the safety of the area. After his death, Torres Felix was laid to rest in Jardines del Humaya, a cemetery located just outside of Culiacan. This is also the final resting place of Torres Felix's son Anastasio. Because of the killing of Manuel Torres Felix, the Mexican armed forces beefed up their presence in the state of Sinaloa to protect against the possibility of violent retaliation from organized crime. Only a few hours after he died and the news got out about his death, a memorial page on Facebook was established, and it had personal photographs. As of the month of November 2012, the page had about 40,000 followers. At least 3 narcomantas, or narco banners, appeared throughout the city of Culiacan on the morning of the 16th of October 2012, 3 days after he was killed by the Mexican army. These narcomantas accused Ismael Zambada Garcia of betraying Torres Felix and setting him up to be killed by the Mexican military. Since Manuel Torres Felix was Zambada Garcia's right-hand man and a major administrative position in the Sinaloa cartel, the Mexican army believes that his death delivered significant damage to the organization's internal structure. No doubt, Manuel Felix was also a major administrative player in the Sinaloa cartel. On the other hand, it is rather difficult to predict precisely how big of an effect the cartel will be affected by Torres Felix's absence. According to the allegations made by the agency, Torres Felix will not have an effect on the overall drug trafficking operations of the Sinaloa cartel because of the huge size and influence of the organization. However, the fact that he was killed should serve as a warning that the Mexican government is willing to take on the highest commanders of the Sinaloa cartel on their own soil in order to bring them down. Zambada Garcia is undoubtedly feeling apprehensive about the news because of what the authorities think Torres Felix's importance is, if what they say is accurate. On the other hand, there is a huge possibility that Zambada Garcia may have arranged for Manuel Felix to be murdered on purpose in order to further his own criminal agenda. That is a story for another day. That is all on the most violent sicario in Mexican history.
That was a crazy story. Make sure y'all guys like that video though.